Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I'm your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Virgo in the month of January 2019. Hello, 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 Virgo. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Well, Virgo, happy New Year, my friends. I hope you guys had a wonderful time ringing in the new year. I hope you guys spent it with people that you love and people who love you back, and I hope it was a fabulous time. And of course, happy holidays for those who may have missed my December reading. I hope, again, you were spending it with people that you love and who love you back, and it was a wonderful time, okay? Virgo, as you can see, I've shuffled ahead, and that's your main spread there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to shuffle, excuse me, for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all cards are out and they're lying face up, that's when the reading begins. I'm going to put a timestamp down in the description box, and you can go ahead and click that if you want to jump ahead. Also down there, you can see how to go about getting a personal reading with me if you feel so inclined. If you want to work with me, I want to work with you. And that's about it. I am finally getting over this cold I've had for, well, about a week, so I guess that's average. I may have to stop the reading to, you know, take a drink of water, clear my sinuses and things like that, but ultimately I'm feeling so much better. So you will be the first reading, I think, where I'm like halfway close to like not dying at some point in the reading, but we'll see. I've spent all day not talking, but now I'm talking, so we'll see what happens with my throat and my nasal passages, right? So I apologize in advance for any interruptions. Virgo, outcome, January 2019. Let's go ahead and get that for you, okay? Oh, boy. Well, there you go. He's been coming out a bit. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. And let's go ahead and flip the rest of your cards and let's see what's shaking, huh? Oy. What the deal? What the deal? Oh boy, did I just mess that up? No, we made it. Made it work, right? Looks pretty even. Close enough, right? Alright, please show me where Virgo is in January 2019. Please show me Virgo in January 2019. Please show me. Yeah? Or that one? Yep, okay, thank you. Because I think it was Leo? Well, someone else, or Cancer maybe. There was like two different positions, and they wouldn't make up their mind, but they made up their mind a little bit more clearly for you guys, Virgo. So, pardon me. Coming into January, you come in as the Devil card. Don't be scared, it's okay. This is the card of Capricorn, so you might have a fellow earth sign Capricorn who is significant in your life, but again, they don't have to be. Let's see here. I'm getting the sense of like, there might be an issue, there might be some problem or some relationship for some of you that needs to be addressed, or is kind of weighing on you, is kind of bothersome to you, is kind of needling at you, you know, kind of pestering you, and it comes with a lot of baggage. The person, the situation, whatever we're talking about. you know, the devil is a major arcana card, so it speaks to bigger themes in our lives and also carries usually a lot more weight behind them because they're usually, you know, divinely guided, kind of like this, not intrusion, but certainly an insertion or sort of a highlighting tool sent down from the heavens, from God, from the universe, from spirit, whatever you believe in or whatever you don't believe in. So there is a heavy weight behind what we're talking about right now, or where you're starting, Virgo. I think some of you, thank you, here we go. Some of you might be, the heaviness or the burden might be coming from you because you are overworking yourself, you're overloading yourself, or there's a situation that calls, or a relationship, it could go either way, but there's something that demands a lot of you and you keep giving into those demands and you're not really taking time to properly rest, properly heal. You're not able to get a mental break from something, and so there is like this control issue going on here, Virgo. You might feel you're being controlled. You might feel you have too much control. You have too much say. You have too much or too many responsibilities. And it's just too much, too much, too much. You know, the devil can talk about obsessions and addictions, but he also talks about overindulgence of the pleasurable kind and overindulgence in things that are not so pleasurable. So take whatever slice works for you and apply it to your life. If it doesn't resonate, of course, don't force it. And the thing about the devil card for you, Virgo, is there's like something about proportions, because as you can see there, the devil is very prominent in the card, but he's got those two human figures in the background there on the hillside, right? And then he's also got the moon. So you've got like three distinct objects within the illustration of different sizes. So some of you are, your issues are bigger in your mind than they are in reality, or vice versa. Some of you are minimizing your issues. Some of you are minimizing sort of the fixation or the intense amount of control and obligation that you have on your shoulders. You're kind of just excusing it and you're trying to brush it under the rug and make it so it's not such a big deal. Others of you are making a mountain out of a molehill. And again, you know who you are, you know your situation, have a little, you know, self-awareness and apply it to yourself. And that's also sort of, did I mention illusion or delusion? Did I say that? I'm not sure. But that also was there. If I didn't express it in the beginning, I apologize. But I do feel like there's sort of this, like, for the most part, self-deception going on with you, Virgo. Whether you're looking at something and you're minimizing it, or looking at something and you're blowing it up beyond proportions, there's just, you co-sign to that energy. And often the devil card will talk about what we sort of co-sign ourselves to. Because whether you're coming from a religious background or a spiritual background or not, there is this idea of the devil being a trickster, right? The devil, especially if you think of it strictly in like biblical terms, and again, I'm not a religious person. I was not raised in any type of faith, but I know like the basics, and the basics that I know, especially from the story of the Garden in Eden, is that the devil, Satan, whatever you call him, he disguised himself. Trick number one, inserted himself into basically Adam and Eve's lives. Trick number two, he's an interloper. And three, he didn't tell a lie, but he certainly spun a yarn and manipulated Eve and manipulated Adam to a certain extent into whatever fate humanity now lives in, right? That's basically the gist of it, and I'm like doing a bang up job, right? But that's essentially it. So the devil is a trickster. The devil will sell you something that you didn't even want to buy. You know, he's gonna sell you something based on your worst fears or your wildest dreams. Take your pick. And there needs to be some proper perspective put in place in order to combat him, in order to beat the devil down and remove yourself from his trickery, remove yourself from his influence, right? Now, you can take that in a totally biblical, religious way, or you can take it away from that and kind of apply that to just, you know, watch out for snakes in the grass around you, or don't be your own snake in the grass if whatever's going on in your life, Virgo. So, going back to the idea of the trickster thing, it's hard to, especially if we're talking about someone else. For some of you, I think we are talking about someone else. It's very hard to go up to someone or confront someone and say, hey, I think you're being shady. I think you're being a trickster. I think you're being manipulative. And so now what are you going to do about it? I called you on your shit. Like, that's not the easiest thing to do if you're talking about a certain relationship. I said for some of you, this is a relationship, friendship, romantic, family, I don't care. But some type of communication between, or connection, excuse me, between you and another person. And that's not the easiest energy in the world to kind of, or message, I should say. It's not the easiest message to convey to someone, especially if you care for them and you're close with them and all that kind of stuff. But I feel that that's sort of the way to do it, you know, is to call this person on their shit, or call yourself on your own BS, you know what I mean? Like, don't sell yourself any type of yarns, or sell yourself any type of lemon of a vehicle, or, you know what I mean? Like, don't trick yourself, and don't allow other people to trick you. Don't allow other people or circumstances around you to pull the wool over your eyes and you know, have dominion over you like they were a puppet master. When you confront the devil, whatever the devil is to you, another person, yourself, the circumstances at large, or different factions, or different pieces of all of those areas of your life, if you call it out, if you call the devil out, there you are. I see you. I mark you. I can identify you, and I label you as this. It takes a lot of the power away. The devil's power comes from your own ignorance, your own co-signing to the devil's power. The devil says, I'm powerful, or, yeah, you know, I told you to eat that apple, suck it, you know, and just kind of slithers away. If you don't chase after that snake, and if you don't accost him for what he's done, he's just going to continue to exude that type of power throughout the universe, if you want to stick with the Bible, the biblical interpretation of the devil. But in a less religious-based argument, which is interesting, because I did Cancer's reading yesterday, and they had a religious thing going on. I think maybe Taurus also had like a, not religious, but certainly spiritual. So that's kind of in the water right now, like these grand declarations about your character and how you are functioning as a spiritual being, whatever way you view spirituality or soulfulness, you know, sentience and consciousness and all that kind of stuff. However, whatever you view, that is a big theme right now. And part of the challenge is standing up in your own power and affirming who you are. And you really, really give the devil a hard time when you do that, Virgo. And again, the devil can be within you, your own self-doubt, your pity party, your woe is me, the world is against me for some of you. But for most of you, I feel that it's going to be an external energy, so it will come in the form of another person or other people. It will be regarding certain situations in your life. But for a good portion of you, this is this is a battle within the self, and you'll have to deal with that however best you can. Okay? And again, I said, like, the first thing I think I said when I picked that card up is don't be afraid. So some of you might have that inclination, like I said, when you recognize the devil, when you recognize that person or the situation and how it drains and pulls on you in such a manipulative way, it's really hard to confront that. You're basically walking into conflict. You're walking into adversarial waters, basically. Nobody really wants that. Nobody wants to have arguments, or nobody wants to have disagreements, or nobody wants to risk the chance of severing certain relationships, or hurting someone's feelings, or nobody wants to face the truth. The truth can be ugly. The truth can be brutal. The truth can be so devastating for you, for them, for everybody involved. But part of undermining that manipulation, that power, which is a false power a lot of times that the devil has, is to say, I see you. I see what you're trying to do to me. I see what you're trying to manipulate me into doing, into believing, into saying, and I'm not going to do that. You're trying to make, you know, some of you, this is like a person who could be like a friendship thing for some of you, where two sides are maybe not, maybe you, Virgo, are sort of caught on the outskirts of something, and you're observing how a friend of yours within a within a friendship circle is doing this, and you see them like stirring the pot between you and other people, or other people, and you're just like watching, and you're just like, look, I might be about to step in it, and I might be about to hurt some people's feelings in here, but you over there, person, you and whoever this person is embodying that energy, I see what you're doing. And you're doing it in front of me, and you know that I see you, like you know, you see them, and they know you see them, and they're basically looking at you like, are you going to say anything? No, you're not, because you're a punk. Oh, you're not going to say anything because I will just call you a liar or something like that. Like, you know, this person to a certain extent is looking at you going, you're letting me get away with this, and I'm just going to keep doing it. You know, someone is sort of undermining you, taking advantage of you. Did I say something about being naive or ignorant? Some of them might not even think that you're aware, some of them. But some are actually absolutely aware. You know them, or you see what they're doing. You see their their behavior, and you're like, I peep it. But you haven't said anything. And so that will be your challenge. You don't have to do anything, of course. You don't have to confront this person. I think many of you want to, or I think many of you will feel compelled to do so. You may, you know, choose not to in the end. But I think that there is something valuable and perhaps altering, not life-altering, but certainly can change the pathway a little bit if you were to confront this person. For those where this is an external energy and this person is like a shit stirrer and all that good stuff, okay? And the devil is sat beneath this Four of Wands energy. I'll show you this card upright so you can become used to it. I don't use this deck often online, or never, except for these January readings. And this is the English Tarot if you're interested. Reversed. So there was, or is this potential? Well, it's mostly a was. It's not a whiz, it's a was. I'm sorry. Anyway, this Four of Wands is speaking to sort of a stable connection between you and other people, or another person, or in a situation, whether that be a home situation or a work situation, or some other social gathering or connection. And it was stable. This devil has thrown instability into it, has really shaken the foundation of it, or has thrown a crack in the foundation. Maybe not shaken and totally demolished the foundation, but certainly thrown a crack in it. Thrown a monkey wrench in there, right? And I feel for some of you it does affect you directly, but I feel for many more of you this is a very indirect thing that you're feeling about this devil card. And the manipulation that's going on there, or the deceit that's going on there, or the total iron fist like control that someone is exerting on a situation or on another person. And you see it secondhand, maybe even third hand, you're seeing this thing. And you don't like it because what it was before was a beautiful thing when it was in this upright energy, right, Virgo? It was just like, oh man, that was nice, and you guys had a nice house, or we had a nice marriage, but now you've ruined it. You know what I mean? So you are very much struck and in awareness of how messed up things have become. It's giving me like a sad mad feeling. Sad mad. Like primarily you're sad, and then also you're kind of angry about it. Like you're kind of pissed off about it. But primarily you're sad because I think for some of you, you realize the change, the crack in the foundation, the manipulation, the shit stirring, whatever it is, was going to happen because that person is that way, or the situation was, you know, off course, and it was, you know, the wheels were falling off of that whole thing. Anyway, it was going to turn into a mess. There was nothing anybody could do. Like, there was no saving whatever caused this foundation to turn upside down. So you recognize there was nothing anyone could do about it, but it still is like one of those, oh, man, like, why did he have to say that? Why did she have to do that? Oh man, why did I put my foot in it? Like, why did I get involved in this situation? If you, again, are embodying the devil energy, which some of you are, be honest, don't lie to yourself. Now, so there's a sad, mad feeling, or a mournful and remorseful, and not mournful like in a very literal way, like dressed in black, you know, crying at a gravesite kind of mournful thing, but mournful as in like it was a beautiful thing that we had, that they had, that was shared amongst this group of people. It was wonderful. It was great. And now it's like less great. Now it's been like tarnished in some kind of way. And so there is this sort of reminiscing feeling. This could have happened years ago, whatever I'm talking about. This like crack in the foundation, this thing being turned topsy-turvy. This could have happened years ago, if not weeks or months ago. And you're just kind of like, ugh, I wish it just never had to happen. But you're a sensible person, Virgo. You're very pragmatic. You're very logical in a lot of ways. So you're not going to hold on there, that was bothering me. Well, it was bothering me. I saw it and then I had to remove it. Anyway. Yeah, you're just like, it was beautiful. It sucks that beautiful things can't, you know, what is that? What's that semi-cliched? This world, beautiful things, something about beautiful things and can't last in the world. You know, the world is ugly, therefore anything beautiful in it turns to crap, is essentially the sentiment I feel. So as much as you might be mourning and kind of reminiscing on the good times, or when things were actually in a more positive positioning, you also accept and realize that in reality, when you get all kinds of different elements involved, different people, different perspectives, different factors involved, you just can't always maintain something that was beautiful. It will sometimes crumble. And yeah, you for the most part accept that. Now, I think that's where you are now. I think this, and maybe that too, yeah. I feel like this is like a collective past energy. So really your present moment, I feel, or what, I think your starting position being the devil is like very important. Because, you know, if you've been with me, I don't read linearly. I don't read past, present, future. I don't do that. I read wherever I'm led, and I read with what I pick up empathically or energetically. And what I feel is this is mostly what's going on now, and this is basically everything that happened before now. And the reason it would show up is because there might be a need to address what happened. Maybe that's how you might address or somehow best defeat this devil energy is to go back to the moment when everything flipped upside down and all the monkey wrenches were thrown at the thing at once, and you just call the devil on, well, this all fell apart when you did this, or when that happened, or when you said this and he said that and all that. Like going back and checking the receipts, basically. So what I'm feeling, yeah, there was a union, then there was not a union, basically. There was unification, there was a yes, 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 and then there was a nope, nope, nope. So you've got the Lover's card. Card of Gemini, so there might be a Gemini in the mix, but it does not have to be that. But this is definitely like the anchor point of the union. You know, obviously you see two people there in the card. They in some way are mirroring each other, so there is this idea of unification. But, and I forget who this card came out for before. It might have been Aries or Taurus. I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. But I'm led again to talk about how even though these people are mirroring each other and they seem similar, or they seem as though they're somehow together, they're actually pretty opposite. Number one, their backs are facing each other. Their backs are towards each other. And number two, even though they're looking in the same direction, the woman's head is turned to the left and the man's head is turned to the right. So there's opposites there. There's this idea of we want the same thing, or we're looking at the same goal, we're oriented in the same way, but our way of approaching will be different, excuse me. The woman has to turn her head this way, the man has to turn his head that way, and divergence. There's just this idea of divergence. I'm again led to talk about, and I forget who it was. You might want to check the Taurus reading. It might have been Taurus. I feel it could have been Taurus. If it's not Taurus, maybe Aries. So quickly just look in there, and if you see the the Lover's card on the table, you'll know that I was giving them a similar message. So there might be a tie-in there for you guys. But again, if that's not important to you, don't check it. But I'm led again to talk about this broom here. And brooms, especially in this, even though I know they're kind of on the grass there, from a certain perspective, that can look like a carpet. So there's this idea of a domestic situation where two people were seemingly in a union, seemingly copacetic, seemingly on the same page about something, but coming at it from completely different angles, coming at it from a completely different headspace. Maybe somebody was happy, maybe somebody was miserable, and they both had the same goal of let's make this thing work, you know, in a marriage per se. But then, you know, that doesn't work out. How can you have a marriage that, you know, that goes the distance if somebody is miserable and the other person is like ignorantly happy, like naively happy, like blindly happy, just like, oh, everything's fine, ha 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 ha, you know? And maybe in that tone that I just did, that ha 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 that I just did, maybe that was like a pretense. So maybe someone was faking being happy. Whatever it is, for some of you, not everybody, this could have been your relationship, but like I said, I feel a lot of you are just observing this. So this could have been your parents, this could have been your best friend and their husband, or your best friend and their wife, or whoever it is. It could have been your own relationship from 10 years ago. I don't know, but there is a distance perspective for you. You're not actually in it right now or anywhere near the recent past. I feel that this is a thing that doesn't belong to you, or you've had so much time away from that it kind of feels like a whole different life. A whole different Virgo went through whatever the hell this was, you know? That was when I was 25. Girl, I'm 48 now. You know, I'm a different person. And they're holding hands. Okay, well, it looks like they could be holding hands. Not that they are, but they could be holding hands. So right there towards the rear end of the ram, I guess you can kind of see it, but not, oh, is that better? Whatever. It looks like they could be holding hands. But again, they're, especially the woman, she looks like, man, like, why are we holding hands? I don't even know this guy. I don't even care anymore. So it's like, and being that this is the card of Gemini, just to tie it in a little bit astrologically, Gemini and the air signs, but Gemini definitely can be a sign and can carry this perspective of, I like this thing, but I hate this thing at the same time. Or I really like this thing, but I kind of don't like it. I kind of am over this thing. Relationship, hobby, job, I don't care what it is. So in this particular case, and especially in this deck, this Lover's card makes me feel like you carry something or you carry on with something when you are so ready to let it go. But you still carry it. You still hold on to it. That's why I was focused on the hand holding, right? They both are looking at whatever they're looking at, whatever their goal is from different perspectives. Again, one's looking left, one's looking right. But they're still holding hands. And it's like, how can you, like, no, you obviously want something, but you're coming at it from different angles. How can you be unified when you're basically opposites, is what I'm getting. So there's this troublesome mixture here. There's this troublesome unity here that just doesn't jive. It doesn't gel. It doesn't meld together as well as other interpretations of the Lovers might make you think, or other representations of the Lovers might make you think. So somewhere in the past, recent or 10, 15, 20 years ago, I don't know, there was a union of sorts. Could have been romantic, but it does not have to be. And I think it had potential. I think that it was, had many good things about it, many great attributes to it, but ultimately there were two people involved. Whether this is a business arrangement between a group of people, maybe you and two of your college buddies, you know, started a small company in the early 2000s, and now, you know, 10 years later, you have to dissolve the business. It had potential, but people came at it, eventually people came at it from different perspectives. Somebody was super happy to be going to work and building this small market business, well, not small market, but, you know, relatively small market business or whatever, and other people involved were like, I can't do this anymore, this is not what I want for my life, this is not, you know, I have a kid now, I can't put all my money and energy into this small business, I have to cut my losses, something like that. And you, Virgo, could have been sitting on the sideline watching your two business partners go back and forth with, we need to sustain what we've already created. The other person's just like, I just want to leave. I just want to get out of this. Please just let me out. You know? And you're just like, man, we had some good shit. What happened? You know? Yes, thank you. I wasn't even looking there, but thank you. So right beneath that is basically the one who wanted to do the deuce. That's them. Right there. 3 of Wands. Excuse me. So this person who wanted to, and probably has already by the time of this reading, by the time I upload this and you are watching it, you already know who this is. This person has dipped, most likely. They have already gone. Whether they've actually left the situation, whether they're actually out of the business, out of the relationship, out of the marriage, out of the home, out of wherever, whether they've actually up and gone, their energy is already at this point. I'm out. Out, out, out. 3 of Wands is someone who has a new sort of direction in life, and they have to take chances. They have to kind of roll the dice. They have to sort of, you know, act on their impulses, or act on in some of their cases, act on their best judgment, and do what they feel is correct for them, because now their passion is aligned elsewhere. Their interests, their dreams, their goals are somewhere else. So the small business, the marriage, the friendship, whatever is dissolving, or it has been dissolved, no longer satisfied this person. So they had to get up and go. They had to get up and go. Does it make it easy? No. Does it mean that they acted in the most cordial of ways? No, that's not indicated here. The intent is here. The intention is my life, my dreams, what I view as success, what I view as happiness, what I view as what's going to fulfill me and sustain me and make me a better person isn't here anymore, so I'm out of here. And some of them may have said it, like, just point blank, just like that. I'm out. No. I used to be into this. Now I'm not into this anymore. I'm out. And so you, Virgo, and someone else may have been left to pick up the pieces. You know, you could have been the one who dipped. This is a general reading, so if this is you, put yourself in here and don't deny it. And here's the thing. It feels super like resolute. Wands is a very passionate suit in the tarot. It's related to the fire signs. So there is sort of this, I'm going to do it, I'm just going to get it done, and nothing is going to hold me back. Nothing can hold, much of the time, nothing can hold Wands energy back. It's very much not into restriction. It's not into being controlled or manipulated. It wants to leave all that crap behind and get into a space of freedom. So someone may have had that in their goodbye talk, in their argumentation. Look, I don't feel free here. I feel really restricted. You know, when we started this business, when we first got married, when we initiated this, we had all these dreams, we had all these visions, we had all these plans. And then as life does, you get into the doldrums, you get into the mundane stuff, having to go to the bank, having to pick up the dry cleaning, having to drop kids off at daycare, having to go and, you know, do laundry. You know, that stuff can really weigh down and kill a dream, can kill passion, can snuff all of the fire out of a relationship. So maybe that's what happened. Sucks. Totally sucks. I've been there. We've all been there. But like I said earlier about the Four of Wands energy, your perspective, Virgo, since this is your reading, is what can you do? Done and dusted. You know, we got to move on from that. We got to move on from the loss. We got to move on from having that bright idea, that bright baby of an idea, that bright, shiny new thing. We got to let that go too. And we have to get on to new stuff. Like, really, Virgo, if you're on the outside, which I feel many of you are, not all of you, but many of you are, you're all just sitting there like, look, can we just hurry this along and get to the new stuff? Or let's just go ahead and all this has been a wash. We had some good times. We learned some things. We created new memories, but ultimately, let's build a bridge and get the hell over this. Is basically how a lot of you feel. But if you're on the sideline, that's not really your cross to bear. That's not really your position to take. If you're not the main player in this stuff, you're just waiting there on the sidelines, on stage on the side of the stage, just waiting to come out and give your two lines and then walk right back off. If you're just a supporting player in the play or in the musical or whatever it is, you're like, look, I'm just waiting to say what I need to say and I can leave. And you guys will handle the rest of it, okay? What else is there to know? I mean, like, I feel that kind of covers everything. So I think we're going to move fairly quickly through these remaining two. Right, thank you. Okay, so remember how I said this person here is the one that dipped? This is what happened. They're down here. And they could be the devil person. Just saying, since this is kind of how they're treating it. They're kind of showing me on a linear line here, which is ironic because I don't tend to read linearly, but that happens sometimes. So this person on either side. Oh, wow. Yes, of course, because you've got these two parallels with the moon here. Yeah, okay. Beautiful. So the person who dipped, they could be, they don't have to be, but they could be the devil. Just letting you know. They also, for sure, are in the moon card of Pisces. So this person might be a Pisces, but they don't have to be. And Pisces could be very relevant in their birth chart, but that is just for those of you who want the astrology of it. It is really more about the energy behind the card. And behind this card is more deception, more delusion and illusions, more trickery or pretense is more what I'm feeling. Pretense. There's a lot of falseness with the moon, and that's not an insult. I'm not trying to knock a Pisces or knock any Pisces that you know, because I absolutely adore Pisces. I have two very dear Pisces in my life. So that's not a knock on them because they do have wonderful attributes. But what I'm getting right now for this reading, masked. Pretense, falseness, okay? I think that this person, previous to this point, and maybe still to this point today, was avid in, or an avid, I shouldn't say avid, they were actively, thank you, actively deceiving someone, or deceiving you, or deceiving and pulling a quick one within the situation at large, okay? So that could involve falsehoods. Like, I mean, we've all been there, right? And we've all been witness to it. Like, you walk into a room, or you ask someone, hey, you look a little sad. Is everything all right? And they go, I'm fine. And they might smile right in your face, but that's a lie. Or that's the pretense, is they mask their own pain. They mask their own unhappiness. They mask their own self-loathing or judgment of self and disappointment in themselves, or even disappointment and loathing towards the situation or towards another person. They never were one to admit that they were unhappy, that they were angry, that they were hurt, that they were depressed, that they were, for God's sakes, that they were, in some cases, very few cases, that they were absolutely like undermining the business or undermining the relationship. What do I mean by that? Stealing from a business, cheating in a relationship, lying about that, for very few. You know, if this is about you in partnership with those two friends or whoever else, and come to find out somebody was cooking the books, oh yeah, because of this. Yes! Sorry, I got excited. Okay, so look, the moon. Look at her. She's pointing at the moon. Think of that as the prophets, right? You're running a business, and this person maybe was in charge of the books, or maybe they had a hand in picking the accounting agency that was going to help you guys, you know, keep things afloat and keep things kind of, you know, on track. And they're like, oh yeah, look over there. Look at the account. It's full of money. It's full of money. Look behind their back. A very small ball, or a smaller portion of the moon, a chunk of the moon. This person pocketed handfuls of money. This person pocketed parts of the profit. This person pocketed something good about the business. Maybe if it's not direct money that was stolen, maybe it's clients. Maybe it's referrals, whatever. Maybe it was just freaking snacks from the break room. You go to their house and you're like, damn, you got a lot of, like, are those these napkins, they look a lot like the napkins that we have down in the cafeteria or in the restroom. They're like, yeah, I just went to Costco and I got some. I saw that they were selling them there. And you're like, okay. No, they stole them from the stock room, boy. So, yes, unfortunately, this person, whoever they are, and again, it could be you, be honest with yourself. I don't know why I have to keep saying that, but some of you wearing that mask, being a snake, okay, trying to trick people, okay? If it wasn't that, in a business sense, we go back to the relationship thing, right? So somebody had a bit on the side. How's your wife doing? Oh, she's right over there. Isn't she beautiful? Look at that big wife of mine representing the moon. And then right behind their back, they got a little side piece, a little side biscuit, right? That's unfortunate because, you know, for me, in either situation, why lie? Be honest. You know, eventually. Like, to lie initially, to sidestep questionings initially, but after weeks, months, maybe even years of deception, just let it go. Just stop with the deflection. Stop with the diverting the conversation. Like, oh, so who's that new secretary, or who's that new PA you got? Oh yeah, you know, her name's Lindsay. She's a nice girl. Hey guys, what about water skiing? Anybody ever do water skiing? And they're like, dude, no, we don't water ski here. No, nobody here has ever water skied. You know that. And you're like, well, water skiing, I'm thinking about that. And somebody's like, so Lindsay, yeah, but water skiing, right? There's just like a blatant sidestep. Not blatant, but there was a continual sidestep. Yeah, I shouldn't say blatant now. Erase blatant, because the moon talks about things that you can't see. You know, by the light of the moon, imagine if we had to live by the light of the moon. Like in Alaska, right? What is it, like only 30-some days or 60-some days of sunlight in the year, and most of the time it's nighttime up there. If you constantly had to do that, what a pain. The sun gives us such great illumination, right? We can see everything when the sun is out. When it's a bright sky, you can see everything. When the moon is up, you can see some things. You can't see everything. There are more shadows under the light of the moon than there are shadows under the light of the sun. Okay? So this person sidestepped in the shadows. Ducking and diving in the shadows. Very secretive. I wish you could see what I'm doing. I'm looking like a little football player with my juking, excuse me. So, not a great character, this person. But the irony I feel is, from the empathic point, is you love this person. You care about them. You're not going to, this is not a breaker. This is not a, what are those things called? This is not a, oh my God, I can't think of it. Deal breaker. Thank you. It's not a deal breaker. It's like, why couldn't I think of that? So whatever they've done, whatever they've been doing, it's not a deal breaker to you. You're just like bummed that they did it. Like, why couldn't you just trust me and tell me the truth? Why couldn't you have just spared our friend or your husband or your wife or whoever the agony of this? Why didn't you just say it? Why did you do all this ducking and diving? Just stop. You know, you're just like, oh, man. Disappointed. Disappointed. One of my favorite memes. Anyway, so right above that position, and again, coming right across from that lover's position, you've got the Three of Swords. So I don't normally say it, but I already talked about it. Third party situation, right? So someone had a little side biscuit, you know, went into KFC or Popeyes or whatever. It was like, what meal would you like today? I don't want a meal. I just want all biscuits. Just give me a box full of biscuits. Yes. Okay? So someone definitely cheated in a situation, whether that be romantic, whether that be a business relationship, whether that be a friendship situation. Somebody was just doing some underhanded, shady stuff. And sometimes friendships can be that way, especially when you're a little bit younger. No shade to anybody who's like, you know, younger than I am, which I will not tell you how old I am, but most people know how old I am, I think. But that can happen in friendships. Like, we don't talk to her. I hate her. And I hate to put on that voice, but you know those types of people. Guys and girls. Oh man, that guy's he's such a this. Don't talk to him, man. Or, blah, blah, blah. And like, you decree to your friends, don't talk to that person over there. And your one friend is like, okay. And they sidestep, walk up into KFC, give me that box of biscuits because I'm going to go have lunch with Daryl. Or I'm going to go have lunch with Rachel. And you're like, you find out weeks later, months later, years later, you have been having lunch once a week with Rachel? And your friend is like licking their fingers from the biscuits. Yeah, I did. So, I don't know why I'm going on this tangent about biscuits and all that stuff, but I'm entertained. I hope you are too. But, so, Three of Swords. So that is definitely the case. More so what they want me to talk about, because that was just how it was linked here to that person. They did it. They know they did it. You know they did it. Everybody knows they did it. How it's linked back to the other person, which is where they are, and they haven't moved. Or, okay. So somebody, could be you, could be mutual friend, could be, you know, whoever. There's another person who is kind of, I wouldn't say wallowing, but they're certainly a little weepy. They're certainly sad. They are heartbroken. All right, Three of Swords again, right next to the Lovers. And again, distanced away from that Four of Wands upside down. I'm going to cough. Our first break. Hold on. All right, Virgo, sorry about that. Oh, and I turned that a little bit. Don't know how long that was cooking. Oh, well. But yeah, somebody's just like, oh, I'm sad, or I'm hurt. And I don't want to take on that mocking tone, but that might be how you're receiving their position, their case. You're just like, oh my God, you're weeping, like you're crying. Like some Virgos can be a little like cutthroat. Like, oh, you're crying right now? Okay, you're crying. Go ahead, keep crying. And you just kind of have to sit there and listen to someone like weeping and moaning, oh God, and this happened, and he treated me this way, and he was just like this, and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, he lied to everybody. Let's get over it. Build a bridge and get the hell over it. Like, that's how some of you are. So let me go ahead and try and step away from that, because I don't want to be totally unsympathetic to people around here. But that's where some of you are. Like, okay, I brought the wood and the nails, the struts. Let's build this bridge today. Let's do that right now. Come on. So the Three of Swords is the pain that person who has been quote unquote left behind, or who has taken on the brunt of the betrayal. Because again, you can have experienced this betrayal secondhand, third hand, or even first hand, Virgo. But there's someone else. I really don't feel most of you are this person who's weeping. I feel that you're witnessing someone weeping, and you're just like, okay, I get it. You're hurt. Like, stop being hurt. Some of you are like, you got no compassion right now, if I'm honest. Or very little compassion. Like, your compassion is like dwindling down. But the pain belongs to whoever is weeping. And it reverts back to, or somehow is reflected back in, that's going to sound weird, reflected back into this future now position where we started the reading over here. And it's rooted in that nice, sturdy, wonderful foundation that now has a crack in it, or in some cases has been completely demolished, has been boarded up, marked for implosion, you know what I mean? So whatever varying degrees in the dismantling of that Four of Wands is in your situation, or in the situation of someone else someone involved, someone very much close to it is just like looking at that structure and just like, oh man, crying and all that, and you're just like, stop. I hate to repeat myself, but like, it's very obvious to me. You guys are just like, and maybe like that's what you're doing. Thank you. I'm like, why do I have to keep coming back to this? Maybe because some of you are like trying to, even if you're doing it through a tough love mechanism or tough love approach, I think some of you are like trying to be a cheerleader for whoever is the weepy person, for whoever is the sad sack. Ooh, that's a word that I use in my personal life. I don't want to use that here in the reading, but that could be the perspective. You're looking at somebody like, God, you were just so sad. Like, you're not dead. Please stop. But your perspective is a little bit judgy, if I'm honest. Not all of you, but some of you. You're being like a little harsh. And so you're giving someone like a kick up the backside. Like, come on, pull yourself together. Stop this. He left 8 years ago. I think you can move on now. Yeah, sorry for being slightly nasty about it. Outcome for January. Knight of Wands. I think I mentioned before that this guy's come out, and I can't remember who he came out for. I think he was in Leo's reading, but he wasn't in the outcome. And I think he was in someone else's reading, but whatever. But lots of wands have been coming out for January. So a lot of like new endeavors and issues about passion and issues about following your dreams and all that good stuff. As an outcome for you, Virgo, this could be you. You could be like storming the castle. The Knight of Wands is very similar, or not very similar, but probably closest to the Knight of Wands with that storming of the castle would be the Knight of Swords. And both would be really, really like fast moving, very impulsive and active in their intentions, or active, putting a lot of action behind their intentions, putting a lot of action behind their ideas. So some of you, if you are needing to recuperate yourself, if this somehow you're a key player in all of this, maybe you're this person down here, maybe you're the devil energy, remember, be honest, you will take to action to remedy whatever's going on with yourself. If you want to combat the devil, if you want to, you don't have to, especially if it's inside of you. Most people are like, no, I'm a great person. I'm not a manipulator. Okay. But for those of you where it's not really this internal energy, you, I feel, would be swinging into action, scooping up your friend who's still weeping over that lost relationship from a decade ago, whatever. And you're like, look, girl, look, dude, let's stop with the pity party, because you've been there for many years now and everybody left. You know, you're the only person still attending that shindig. You need to cut it out. So I feel like you might be going into someone's rescue. You know, you're going in to kind of pick up the pieces. You're going in to try to make amends. You're going in to try and change somebody's negative outlook into a more positive outlook. And if not, that is something that you need to invite into your life. If other people are coming to you, Virgo, if you have been the sad party up here in the top, if you've been the disappointed person, if you're the hurt person, other people might be coming to you and saying, hey, Virgo, let's go out and let's do this. Hey, Virgo, let's meet up and have lunch. Hey, Virgo, let's go on a girls trip. Let's go on a guys retreat. Let's do this. Let's do that. Blah, 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 blah. It definitely is go, 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 act, 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 get busy, get busy. There's a get busy energy with this guy. And I feel it's going to be very therapeutic for you and other people if you do that. Some of you might need to take action to counteract the devil, because a lot of times, like I said, that co-signed energy, we're speaking like way a long time ago, is that someone is tricking someone else or other people into believing they have less power than they do. They have less authority than another person, and so someone has been controlling another person. The Knight of Wands, even if he has a high chance of losing, he will still, like I said, storm the castle. If he's the only guy riding in there, he's like, all right, I'm going to ride in there. Knight of Wands, you could get hurt. You're not going to win. You might die. And he's like, I'm going. Because he believes so much in what he's doing. And he believes so much in his own path, his own destiny, his own effectiveness in whatever he's trying to accomplish. So there might be a little bit of friction for some of you coming up against energy that is a little daunting, is a little bit of a, master manipulator, a snake in the grass. Some of you are just going to charge right at that person, or charge right at that energy, and whatever happens, happens. I don't know, but there is just like this strong willingness and belief that, well, even if I die, I'm gonna die trying, is sort of what it is. Okay. Overall energy: Four of Coins, aka Four of Pentacles. So I immediately get the sense of miser and tight-fisted and holding back, which is very similar to the traditional interpretation of this card from the Rider-Waite deck. But I'm getting this as more as like someone is being standoffish, someone is being closed-minded or closed-hearted, like they're holding themselves not back, but they're tucking into themselves. They're creating a barrier. If I basically, that I guess it's like a classic illustration of the three chimpanzees or the three monkeys. One covers its eyes, the other covers its mouth, the other covers its ears. Hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil, something like that, right? That's kind of what I get from this energy. So there has been more than one person, maybe four, since we're talking Four of Coins, and there are actually, well, there would be, but there are four coins in succession. So for some of you, that could mean like a family thing, like four siblings perhaps, or four members of a family unit that have basically been doing that hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil kind of thing. So turning a blind eye to all of this, and kind of that would be, to me, sort of symptomatic, or it would come about as a defense mechanism. If you're watching your parents' relationship dissolve and deteriorate over a period of time, years from your young adulthood to now your older adulthood, and they're still having a disagreement, or they're still married but they live separately and they have different partners but they're still legally married, or some crazy crap like that. You've turned a blind eye, you've shut your ears up to, you're not going to speak on just how dysfunctional that whole freaking circus is. You're just going to be like, can't. Nope. Gonna turn away, gonna look over here. Ooh, look, apple pie. Ooh, look, water skiing. Whatever. Whatever the divergence is, whatever the escapism is in a high effect here. And again, if it's not necessarily that, it would be this miserly energy where someone is withholding funds, withholding resources, clinging on to. Going back here, talking about a foundation, and I said a lot about foundations and cracked foundations, which leads me to think about a home. And if someone is clinging to property, even though they don't live there, like dad, mom kicked you out 25 years ago because you slept with Lindsay, your secretary, who is now our stepmom, who you now have a half, I now have a half brother with. You don't live here. And he's like, my name's on the deed, ain't it? So I hate to laugh, but I think that's kind of like also one of the mechanisms to dealing with this laughter. You gotta laugh to stop from crying, right? So for some of you, that's how it is. Your dad, your mom or something is just like, my name on it, ain't it? Don't you see my name on that paper? That means I have a stake in this. And your mom or your whoever is just like, but your name was here, and your name was on these kids' birth certificates, and but you, and it's the whole thing. And then you, your brother, your sister, or whoever, you walk out the door, you're like, let them do it. Let them argue, because this is not about us. We can't be involved in this. Or, as your perspective is, Virgo, you're like, this should happen 25 years ago. Why are we still talking about it? Let's build that bridge. I got the materials. Look in my car. Right now, I got the wood, man. Let's build the bridge and get over this shit. That's your reading. I can't, because I can go on and on and on about this. That is your reading, Virgo, for January 2019. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there was something here that resonated with you. If it did, I'd like to see a comment from you. That would be great. If you don't want to leave a comment publicly here on YouTube, you can go ahead and email me your comments or email me your feedback. I'd love to read it there. Also, feel free to like the video if you liked it. If you don't want to talk about it, at least maybe you liked it. Also, share the video with people across your social media. I would love that. More people who view it. Good for me, good for you, good for everybody, right? And also, subscribe to the channel, Virgo, if you're not already subscribed. I love to see more people join my little village of how would you say it? Like co-spiritual tribes people, I guess, is how sometimes people talk about it. I view it as like my buds, my partners. You guys are all my partners. So if you guys want to be my partner too, hit the subscribe button. That'd be great. I will be back in a few weeks. I will not be sick anymore, so that'll be fun. And I'm going to do your February readings in a few weeks. Until then, guys, I thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.